already this season, he's been on fire.
There's a reason he wears the number 6, because he's going to light it up and give you 6 every time he touches the ball. You can't say enough about Darius Prince, known as one of the Darius brothers. Last year he had Darius Reynolds on his side. Today it's Lonnie Outlaw. But Reynolds and Prince, can't help it. Prince is the man.
Prince, number 5 so far this year. Other sideline, Desmond Epps caught 4 touchdowns in week 1. He's got 5 on the season, and 4 of them have come from 30 or more yards out.
Some say the number 13 is an unlucky number. As far as Desmond Epps is concerned, it's the number that gets the job done. 321 receiving yards thus far on the season. And the best thing about it is this: Desmond Epps is a team guy. 4 in week 1, 1 in week 2, but he's all right now.
We are counting down to kickoff, presented by Geico, where 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. They are lined up along the wall in the party zone. The kids are out and ready for football today at Capital One Arena. It's the Soul and the Valor. We're getting ready.
Yeah!
There we go.
This Memorial Day, start your summer off right in a new Chevrolet.
Oh, wow.
It's time to upgrade. You guys outdid yourselves.
Welcome in Dan Nolan on the sideline for the first time.
All right, thank you, Grant. Well, big play Reggie Gray put up some big numbers in the Valor's Week 3 victory over Atlantic City. And after he missed training camp, he was quick to note that even though he struggled the first couple of weeks, he wouldn't say he exactly was going through the motions. He was just getting his feet wet. Well, then, Benjamin McDowell worked him into the offense more in Week 3 and, quote, took the training wheels off. It's the perfect time for the Valor to let Gray loose. He's played against Philadelphia 15 times over the course of his career, the most games he's played against any opposing team. 85 catches, nearly 1,000 yards, and 23 touchdowns. Yeah, I think that certainly makes him a player to keep your eye on tonight.
Certainly is. He has put together all kinds of fantasy impact performances over his career, which brings us to our AFL DraftKings lineup. You can play free fantasy AFL today on DraftKings. For your share of real cash prizes, go to arenafootball.com, click on the DraftKings banner, download the app now, use promo code ARENA when you sign up and play like we are today. Here's our announcer picks. I've got Jared Dangerfield, who's averaging nearly 19 points per game. He has set new career highs in receptions 3 straight weeks.
Absolutely is, but I got to tell you right now, I got the best guy on the name board. It's Lonnie Outlaw. Outlaw receiver, that's the kind of guy you got to keep your eyes on today.
We are ready to put our eyes on the field because he's here, and week 4 in the Arena Football League is set to commence. Desmond Epps is back deep for Washington, always electrifying. The Soul 4.5-point favorites as the ball is put in play. Epps will chase it, corner of the end zone, out of play, and the Valor will take over as underdogs. Your over-under today, right in the mid-80s, and I looked this up this morning. All 3 of the games the Soul have played early this season have gone under. We were talking head coach Clint Dolezal today, and he changes to the rules in the first half where you get less possessions now than you used to. Have really been a factor in some of the lower scoring.
I absolutely agree, Grant, and that's one of the things that you have to adjust to. And he even said it's a work in progress about making the adjustment to getting things started, knowing that there's going to be a few less possessions in the game.
You're getting a good look at Arvell Nelson in the huddle for the first time. He made his debut for Washington last year against this Soul team in Week 8. Threw for 345 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's got a quick completion to Epps, and he's off to the races, and he is tripped up inside the 10. The Valor nearly scoring on the first play of the game.
That's how you start off a good matchup against a great defense. You get it out of the hands of your quarterback as fast as possible, get it into your playmakers. There's a reason I picked Desmond Epps on my team for moments like this.
41 yards for Epps. Your starting offense for Washington, an offense that's humming one play in. Nelson to Epps. We were talking to fullback Will Corbin today. He said the Valor benefited immensely from practicing all week here inside of Capital One Arena on the turf they'll be playing on today. There's your offensive line. Second throw of the game from Nelson is going to be into the end zone for a touchdown. Jared Dangerfield, the leader in the AFL, just caught his 27th pass, and this one was a 7-yard score. Washington leads 6, a minute and a half in.
Number 2 is your quarterback. It only took him 2 passes to put some points on the board really quick. Obviously, you got to give a lot of credit to Desmond Epps in the previous play. But Dangerfield just working one-on-one inside against Jones. Beats his man to the spot, and there you go. Quick 6 on the board.
The Valor could not have asked for a more dynamic start offensively. working the length of the field on 2 snaps, and lefty kicker Pat Clark's extra point splits the uprights. 7-0 is the score. 13:03 remaining in the first quarter, and it's all team that he torched late last May in his debut with Washington. In that game, 345 yards, and he scored 7 times. He's already thrown a touchdown 2 plays into this matinee action downtown in D.C. 7-0 Valor. The Soul will get their first chance to answer.
You know they're going to try to answer as quick as possible. That was one of the fastest opening series we've seen this season. And you have to attribute that to the chemistry that the Valor have been able to establish with some consistency in quarterback over the end of last season, and now here we are opening this year. But don't discount Philly. Coach Dolezal and Valor-5 have been together for 10 years now. They know what they have to do to get this game going.
Clark's long, high kick off of the bar bounces in the end zone. It'll be fielded in the paint and then stacked up and dropped immediately. So, because the Soul, referee's going to confer, didn't get out of the end zone, they'll spot the ball. That's about as prolific a scoring drive as you'll see in the AFL. 2 plays, 45 yards, and all of 96 seconds on the Dangerfield touchdown.
I'm going to tell you right now, Grant, one of the things that you're going to have to pay attention to with the changing of the timing rule is, instead of being able to count on that end of half or end of game minute stretch in time where you can get at multiple possessions, now it's about not getting behind early, striking as often as you can so that way you don't have to mount a comeback later on in the game.
Our first look at Dan Rodabaugh, those 13 touchdowns, good for 3rd in the league. Incomplete off the hands of Aaron Washa. It'll be 2nd and 10. Dan Rodabaugh leading this starting lineup, and we'll get our first look at the performers for the Soul. Has absolutely torched Washington. 4 games against the Valor in his career, 24 touchdowns. He has thrown at least 5 touchdown passes in every game he's played against Washington. Neil Tivis, Keith Newell doing the heavy lifting in front of him.
Well, look, when you look at a quarterback that's had the fortune of being able to play under the same coach for as long as he has, it's no wonder that they're super efficient when it comes to these matchups.
2nd and 10 now for Rodabaugh. Middle of the field, this is Washa again. First down up to the 20-yard line. You and I were calling a game in Baltimore a couple weeks ago. Washa had 3 touchdown catches. He picks up 17 yards there.
Washa's a big target, and you have to think on that previous play they weren't able to get the completion on the slant, but then go right back to him on a post route, finding that soft spot in the defense right in the middle of the field for a good completion.
That was his 10th catch of the season. Good for 3rd in this wide receiver core behind Outlaw and Prince. The Valor are going to be tested today. This defense that you just saw giving up the highest point totals in the AFL early this season. Rodabaugh wants to go up top on first down, into the end zone, touchdown. Prince got behind everybody for 30 yards and his 7th touchdown of the season. That leads the AFL. With an extra point, the Soul will be all even 4 minutes in.
Rodabaugh doing what he does best, dropping back, waiting for his man to get open, putting some air under it. You can see Darius Prince just making it a track meet in the backfield against Mario Norman. 1-on-1 over top. It's all about where you place the ball. Rodabaugh placed it perfectly in the back of the end zone. A quick 6 from Mr. 6, Darius Prince.
The extra point from Spencer is no good. Bounces off the net wide left. Extra points have been a major storyline in close games early this season in the AFL. And on special teams, it's the Valor with a 1-point lead, but they'll have to regroup defensively after this Prince touchdown.
Wow!
Yeah, there we go.
This Memorial Day, start your summer off right in a new...
Both teams have had the ball once and scored a touchdown. Dan Nolan with the man who just caught a score for...
All right, thank you, Grant. Darius, your 7th touchdown of the season. Valor took him 2 plays to get in the end zone. So right back, how important was it to score quickly after that first drive?
Very important, especially after last week. You know, we didn't really play a really good game. So we came out flat last week, and this week we didn't want to do that. So we come out, and, you know, we're going to put some touchdowns on the board tonight.
Double the time of possession last week for Philadelphia, but you mentioned the efficiency. How important will that be, especially in this first half?
Oh, man, like I said, Washington's a great team, but I feel like, you know, when we get the ball in our hands, I feel like we're going to do a really good job at scoring the ball. So, you know, it's going to be a shootout all night.
Darius, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yep. Guys,
Prince in his 4th season from Penn State. 31 touchdowns since the start of last year. You just saw Epps go up the ladder to keep the ball in play and then return his kickoff past the 10 all the way up to the 4th team. So he really created 11 yards of field position for Washington. The ball came out, but he was ruled down.
And you can see it right here at the bottom, right there. Ball comes out, just squirts out. It, makes contact with the ground on that play.
Nelson in Washington, back to work and going deep. Epps is overshot. Ball falls safely for Philadelphia into the end zone.
The matchup that you're going to see today between Desmond Epps and number 25, James Romaine. Those two are going to be the matchup you're going to want to watch today. Everybody knows when you see 25 in the Soul secondary, he's the guy that you're going to have to try to work against. Epps, the speedster, and can get under the ball. Had Arvell Nelson thrown just a little more air into that pass, Epps definitely could have brought that one down.
Romaine, one of 4 defenders in the league with at least 2 picks already this season. Probably the best player in any secondary in the AFL. Nelson, plenty of time. And again, he's going to lob one way deep downfield. It was way too far for Josh Reese. Sensational coverage. That time it was Dwayne Hollis.
You can see what the Valor offense is trying to do right now. Take your shots downfield. You know that you've got man coverage. The Soul haven't shifted to a zone yet. And so if you've got one-on-one coverage, go ahead and see if you can try to burn some of this secondary. And if that works, whether you get the completion or not, you can take a little something out of the tank, and maybe you can work underneath and try to complete some yardage.
Soul defense has answered nicely, though. 2 plays into the first drive, the Valor had already scored. Now they've got a 3rd and 10. Nelson, shorter throw this time. It's picked off by Hollis. At midfield, across the 15, cuts back, and he will dance all the way down to the 1.
Wow. That is one heck of an interception from a secondary that is ball hungry. They have been wanting to get these turnovers as much as they can. We talked to Coach Ozell earlier this week, and he said, we got to make plays on both sides of the ball. And when you see what Dwayne Hollis was able to do, locating an ill-advised pass from Nelson, who just let it hang too far inside, didn't see his receiver inside. That was Josh Reese underneath. Threw it too far outside, and Hollis made him pay for it.
Arvell Nelson's 4th interception of the season. Spot will be the 1-yard line. Dan on the sideline. What do you got?
Well, guys, when you look at the defensive backs for Philadelphia, they've got 2 back-to-back AFL Defensive Backs of the Year award winners, James Romaine and Dwayne Hollis. Romaine had 2 pick sixes in week 1. It was only a matter of time before Hollis got an interception of his own. Going to be tough to attack both of those guys today for the Valor.
Loose football, and falling on it is the quarterback, Rodabaugh. It's going to be 2nd and goal from now closer to 2 yards out. This is Adrian Fern's territory. You're going to want to watch the big fullback. He is a 295-pound ball carrier who already has 4 rushing touchdowns on the year. And we talked to Coach Clint Dolezal before the game, and he said, our running game's not really where I want it right now, but we've made some adjustments. We're closer. He said, you know me, I'm going to run the ball.
I love the fact that he knows that. And you saw in the previous play, if you could see what we saw, Burns was a little disappointed because he felt like that play was probably going to go to him on that.
Soul down a point, want to change that. This is Ferns on a toss, cuts back, plowing toward the end zone, and he is dropped. Jimmy Gordon with penetration.
The commissioner, Jimmy Gordon, blowing up the play at the line of scrimmage like a good MAC linebacker should. Obviously sees it's going to be a toss to the right, and you can see how everybody gets downhill and coming across. The guy who makes the big hit is Alvin Ray Jackson. Jack linebacker, 5 yards deep is as far as he can go, but from sideline to sideline, he's all yours.
He's been doing that in the AFL for 10 years. Jackson from Albany State has led the Valor in tackles in 2 of their 3 games, and that was a big one. 3rd and goal for the Soul. Rodabaugh gives to Ferns. He's trying again. He stood up at the 1. He will not get in. Washington stands, and Jimmy Gordon is pumped.
If you love defensive matchups, you're seeing some great defense right now from this Valor. They understand where the ball is going to go. They know that the shortest distance between 2 points is straight ahead. And when you've got Adrian Ferns in the backfield, you got to respect it. So how do the Valor counter that? They stack everybody in the box, too. Not a single defensive back dropped 1 step. Everybody was coming downhill to make that tackle.
That time, Roderick Henderson, he's listed 330. I stood next to him on the field today.
330.
I will take the over on that number.
I'm telling you.
He just acted like a smart car. Good luck moving him.
I'm telling you.
Stout. It's fourth and a couple of feet for Philadelphia. Rodabob. Burns. Trailed by Gordon. Down to the ground he goes. And the Washington Valor with a goal line stand just got their offensive football back.
Jimmy Gordon, the commissioner, laying down the law on defense.
Gordon with a Henderson cleaning up high around the shoulders. The Valor maintain a 1-point lead. Nope.
Second, third, fourth down, right at the goal line. 3 straight stops from you. You look exhausted, but amped up. What was happening on fourth down?
Man, you already know our D-line a bunch of dogs, man. A lot of people don't think we're that good, but we ain't worried about them. Filling these holes, you want to run it, right? We want teams to pass because we got the best secondary in this league, so whatever you want to do, that's it, man. These guys right here, man, they know what to do. They're out here working. We're just here to get this win right now.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Absolutely, guys.
Back to you, Grant.
Only in the Arena Football League you get an access with the man who just made the heroic goal line stop. 3-yard completion on first down to Epps. He's been targeted twice on the last few snaps for Washington. All kinds of movement up front. Flags flying.
I'm still pumped up about Jimmy Gordon's interview just him with Dan Nolan.
Ivan Daniels, our head referee today, assessing the encroachment call. You're right about Nolan, by the way, Wes, and the interview he just did with Jimmy, because down on the field, getting that access right after the play, he still hasn't caught his breath yet, but you could hear he's angry about what's being said about this Washington defense.
Yes, they pay attention to everything, man. Some of these guys, it doesn't take much to get them going, but trust me, they'll take it out on you when they get a shot.
Nelson quickly against the wall. Reese uses the padding to get his footing. Now they're going to say he was actually out, and so they'll impede his progress. But back to the Valor defense. They're giving up 43 points per game. Worst in the AFL. That's 7-yard completion, good for a first down.
I'll tell you one thing that Jimmy said, and it's not only on the defensive side of the ball, but it's throughout this team. I'll take the biggest quote he said was, they're a bunch of dogs, you know what I mean? It reminds me of the old days of Lawrence Taylor running around talking about, we're going to run around here like a bunch of crazy dogs, and that's what you have to have on the defensive side of the ball. A willingness to put your hand in the ground and not concede a single inch to your opponent.
4:20 to go in a quick-moving first quarter. Deep drop for Arvil Nelson. Wide open is Josh Reese. He's got a dive, and he's finally spilled. It'll be first and goal for Washington after a 29-yard catch by the third-year Central Florida product.
Great job by Josh Reese. Be open on this play. A lot of respect given to that offensive line, giving Nelson time to get the ball out. Reese working along the wall.
How did he get so open there? What'd you see?
Well, pretty much the corner dropped back into his zone, and you saw that he was pretty much dropped all the way back to the 10-yard line, not expecting Reese to cut the route off. He was expecting him to go on a go route. Reese found the soft spot, just stood still, waiting for Nelson to get him the ball.
And as we get deeper into this season, we're also seeing teams play a lot deeper and pay more respect to Desmond Epps, who's got the 4 touchdowns of 30-plus yards. And it really has opened things up underneath for Reese and for Dangerfield. Flag flies.
Still in game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
First flag of the game on the Valor, who took too long in the huddle.
Interesting thing about, you talk about that previous play and how he got so open. It really comes down to exactly what you said, the respect for the speed on the other side of the ball. Weeks 1 and 2, defensive matchup, defensive prowess made the difference. As you go along through the season, you're going to start to find the offenses finding ways to pick these defenses apart because the timing starts to finally click for quarterback and receiver, especially for this Valor offense.
Huge size, Doug McNeil now in the game. They're going to throw to him. Incomplete that way. Tons of contact, and they will throw a flag. They wanted McNeil. He got interfered with in the end zone.
That was no question. And from where I sit, Romaine got there a little too early. You can see him at the top of your screen right there, anticipating the motion. And he knows he's given up a lot of height to Mr. McNeil.
Number 25. 10-yard penalty. First down.
They will call James Romaine with the pass interference. That will set the ball up on the near hash mark at the 5. Washington with a new set of downs. First and goal for Arvil Nelson. Reggie Gray is in the game. The 13th all-time leader in receiving yards in in AFL history. He's got 7 catches on the season. As Dan Nolan told you before the game, he's just kind of getting up to speed now over these last couple of weeks. Nelson's going to run the football. He's around the edge, and he ends up being drilled into the wall down inside the 2-yard line. Nelson, a dual threat, Wes, is the AFL leader in rushes and rushing yards, as well as touchdowns on the ground.
He started off last game doing the exact same thing, putting the ball on the ground and keeping it himself and scurrying for a quick early touchdown. Here it is. When you get down in the red zone for this Valor offense, you know that he is a threat to keep it himself and try to squeak one in.
I love that call by the Valor coaching staff, too, because you get some receivers in one direction running routes, and it's designed run the other way. You can see these scores, those 2 columns, they're rushing and passing for Nelson, who has just been filling up the stat sheet. He will push the pile forward for his first rushing touchdown of the day, his 18th total touchdown of the season. Arvell Nelson into the end zone, and the Valor leads 13-6.
It's something special about number 2 in red, white, and blue. Came into the season last year, late in the year, able to take them to an AFL championship and just picked up where they left off at the end of the season last year. He's been this focal point of this offense, whether it's throwing the ball, whether it's keeping it on the ground. At his height and weight, he's somebody you actually have to account for.
How do you stop that? He's 6'5", 230. That's his 6th rushing touchdown. Clark's extra point, good.
I think the only way you're going to have to stop him, really, is to try to prevent him from being in running down situations and make him throw the ball. With the secondary that the Soul has, you'd be in a better position to try to take an interception from him than try to defend his run.
Nelson displaying the strong arm and his mobility on that drive. 5 plays, 48 yards, 4 minutes and 12 seconds as the Valor take an 8-point lead. Let's take a peek at your rule book for the AFL. So many of you checking out the league, maybe more used to the game outdoors. The playing field is 50 yards long. One of the cool things you'll see is throws that go goal line to goal line for touchdowns.
I love that.
The goal posts, the crossbar is actually higher off the ground, and as you'll notice, you don't have nearly as much space between the uprights when kicking. 24 men on a roster, 8 players are on the field at once on each side of the ball. There is no punting, and you get 1 player in motion.
That one guy can light you up if you are not prepared to defend him. That motion man really is a difference maker indoors.
High kick can be played off that back net, but it's going to go into the end zone. Williams can't do much. And there's a couple of dudes who are hanging out today, pumped, drinking their beer and taking home a souvenir.
Oh, the Bud Light Party Zone, everybody's favorite place to be. And here's what's funny about the guys that are in there. They were in the Bud Light Party Zone at least 30 to 45 minutes before kickoff. And I mean, it was us, the teams, and a couple of people working here at the arena. And everybody that was in that party zone was ready to get going for this matchup today.
It's not called tailgating if it's in the arena, right? What would that be called?
I don't know. I'm going to have to come up with that.
We need a new word for it. Rodaball's word has been efficient so far, but not on that play. As Lunny Outlaw dropped a pass that hit him right in the palms.
He heard the footsteps and saw the opportunity. Did the one thing any receiver is taught not to do. You don't take your eyes off the ball. Rodaball got it out of his hands immediately. That's one of the things that he and Dolezal have been talking to us about earlier this week, that they really want to focus on getting the ball out of Dan's hands as fast as possible. But Outlaw, if it comes that, you got to see it, you got to catch it, tuck it, and run.
Outlaw already has surpassed his career marks in receiving this year for Philly. This time it's Darius Prince against the wall, and Jackson runs him into the padding. Will bring up 3rd down, but it won't take place until the 2nd quarter, because the horn just sounded to end the first frame. After 1, the Washington Valor at home lead a Philadelphia Soul team they've never beaten here in D.C. 14-6 at Capital One Arena on AFL Saturday. coaches there, Clint Dolzell. Let's go to the sideline and Dan Nolan.
Thank you, Grant. Well, Dan Radabot and Clint Dolzell were the longest tenured pairing in terms of player and coach in the AFL, dating back to Radabot's rookie season in 2010. Now, Dolzell's one of the greatest players in AFL history. However, with 2 more Arena Bowl championships as a coach, Radabot believes Dolzell may be one of the greatest coaches as well. Now, early in Radabot's career, Dolzell told him that he should be able to play this game without helmets and shoulder pads at quarterback. There's a flag on the play here. But because we're not going to hold it, that advice, along with many other lessons, have resonated with one of the best quarterbacks the game has seen over the last decade. Now, off the field, these guys are just as competitive, specifically with the game of golf. And while Radabot and Dolzell are impressive quarterbacks, both are quick to admit that Dolzell, quote, kicks Dan's ass on the golf course. So, if you're going to go play golf, I recommend being on Coach Dolzell's team, Grant.
Yeah, and you want to be on his team in the Arena Football League as well for most of his career. He's been immensely successful, 90-41 all time, 79-33 since coming to Philadelphia and helping their championship culture. Radabot may not win on the golf course, but he just threw himself a touchdown. Aaron Washoe was wide open, 35 yards, nobody around him, and the Soul get back within a couple.
That was an extreme miscommunication from Mario Norman. Jadar Johnson, the secondary for the Valor, dropped back into his zone, and Radabot just saw it wash away outside of the sideline. It's almost one of those situations where you think, I can't get the ball to him fast enough. Watch it right there on the right side of your screen, wide open. I think there was a little lady right there in front row, thought she might have had a shot at it too.
Washa made sure that wasn't the case as he walked into the end zone. Spencer hits this extra point, so he's now 1 for 2 on the day. That is the reason why Philadelphia trails by a point. 14-13 Washington at home. Your new score into your living room. This is Aaron Washa. Saw themselves fall behind for the first time all night as we welcome you back. Philadelphia Soul, Washington Valor, and the kickoff's going to go endo back of the end zone. So here's what we've seen as a storyline developing all year long, Wes.
Yep.
You see, the Soul had a chance to tie the game there. Extra point the second time around was good, but 1-point game. How many times have we called games this year where at the end of the contest, everything has changed because of point afters being missed? It's been arguably the biggest story of the year in the AFL.
Free kick out of bounds. Ball he placed on the 20-yard line.
Misspot the ball way up at the 20. Can't kick it out of bounds horizontally in this league.
And you're absolutely right about it being a difference maker later on in these games, because remember, not only does every point matter, but then on top of that, you're losing possessions in the game. That's less opportunities to make up for any potential mistakes you make. Good thing for the Valor is that Pat Clark hit his first one, and seeing that he struggled somewhat during the season. But you're definitely right. Either team, you cannot afford to leave any points off that board. If you've got a chance to score, you have to do it, whether it's or special teams.
83 yards, a touch and a pick. Early going for Nelson. 1-point advantage. He's get back to work. Completion, run into the wall. Josh Reese. They've involved him very much early on, mostly near and around the line of scrimmage.
Last week, Josh Reese had a kind of a quiet outing. Big play Reggie Gray kind of was the man who got the lion's share of the attention, he and Jared Dangerfield. But today, Josh Reese is a speedster on this team, and everybody knows it. It's good that he's gotten himself involved earlier in the game, because that just makes him another threat for this Philadelphia Soul defense to have to pay attention to.
Reese, one of the few players on this offense who's been a part of the Valor in all 3 of their seasons in D.C. This is a completion to Epps. Nice grab at the 10. He was spilled by Romaine. It was all over Epps, but that's a big 17-yard catch with contact.
I told you, Desmond Epps, Romaine, those are the 2 guys you're going to have to keep your eyes on. And Epps does an absolutely excellent job at locating this ball. You'll see Nelson drop back here on the pass. He gets it out with some zip. It's just a hair behind Epps. The receiver does a great job locating, catching with his body, protecting himself.
And I'll tell you what, we've seen Epps catch a lot of balls down the field behind everybody. We haven't seen him make small window grabs taking on contact like that much.
That's the versatility and what he brings to the team. Like, he can do this night in and night out, whereas we right now see this is a day game for us, day in and day out.
First and goal from the 10 for the Valor. Trying to extend a 1-point lead, line drive. Not enough loft there from Nelson. He really didn't give McNeil a shot.
He was looking for that height that McNeil brings. And for those who don't remember, Doug McNeil III, last season in the AFL Championship game, big play after big play because he's a big target. And you know that it's only a matter of time before he and Nelson finally get linked up and put some score up.
McNeil went to Bowie State collegiately. He's 30 years old. And they do love his size the closer they get to the goal line. He's down here against the wall, number 8, bottom of your screen. Nelson not looking at him. Back in the end zone. Wanted Reggie Gray incomplete. Romaine in coverage. We'll say that a lot today.
You're going to see Romaine all over the field today. Nelson definitely wants to have that one back. Stood in the pocket for the right amount of time, but a little bit too long and a little bit overthrown.
I want you to explain to people why the closer you get to the goal line in this league, sometimes the worse it is for quarterbacks. You almost want more room to operate with. This could be a tough sequence here for Nelson in tight.
Well, absolutely, because you typically depend on the fact that those defensive backs have to drop and concede ground. Well, now they don't, so they can stay at home and make you have to come towards them.
On 3rd and goal, deep drop for Nelson, throws the door. Reggie Gray catches it for a touchdown, and he'll dance in the end zone. Spotlight shining on number 3, one of the all-time greats in AFL history. Just scored from 10 yards out, and the Valor have a 20-13 lead.
That's why they call him Big Play Reggie Gray, because when the pressure is on, get him the ball, and he's going to do what he's supposed to do, and then when he's done, he's going to shimmy a bit afterwards. I love that they had a bunch formation on the right side with 3 receivers. Reggie Gray goes to the back of the end zone, and Nelson just finds him and throws a dart.
High snap, good hold by Dangerfield. Great kick by Clark. The Valor have converted on all 3 of their extra points, and they're +8 at 21-13. This is an absolute seed from Nelson, his 2nd touchdown of the day.
Guys do whatever it takes to deal with shave irritation. So we reimagined the razor with the new Gillette Skin Guard.
Reggie Gray, only thing he does better than catch footballs, dance. Here's Dan Nolan.
Thank you, Grant. Just want to let you know, Grant, just complimenting your dancing. We talked about that a lot last game, but all right, in week 3, you said you finally had the training wheels taken off, picking up right where you left off last week. How were you able to score on that drive?
It was a play that we set up. I run one route. If they give us one coverage, another route, they give us another one. So therefore, I was trying to read the defense, and we executed.
And Grant's trying to learn how to dance. What's the #1 thing that you give him advice on here?
You got to have no rhythm, because I have no rhythm. You just got to go out there and freestyle.
You don't have rhythm, Grant. That's what Reggie said. Back to you.
Well, then that means I'm a heck of a dancer, too, because I don't have any. 22-yard return negated by penalty. There'll be no dancing for Philadelphia after that flag. Reggie Gray is creeping up on 260 career receiving touchdowns.
Reggie Gray is one of those legendary guys in this league, and I do not use that word lightly. And when I say legendary, you put him up there with guys like T.T. Tolliver, also a former Valor player. You put him up there with guys who know how to get the job done when it needs to be done. He might have one game where he gets 6, 7 receptions. You might have one where he gets 2 or 3, but regardless of such, when it comes down to finding the guy who you know you can depend on and lean on, it's always going to be number 3, Big Play Reggie Gray.
Back to work for Dan Rodabaugh. 4 of 6 with a couple touchdown passes early on. Easy completion Outlaw. He's across midfield. He's eventually brought down by Obi in Washington territory. 20-yard gain.
I'm going to tell you right now, Lonnie Outlaw is a force to be reckoned with out of Miles College, standing at 6'7". You heard that right. 6'7", big target, 220 pounds. A great option for run after the catch, because if you get the ball in his hands, he can punish whoever wants to come up and try to make a tackle.
He's been doing that all season. One of the league leaders in receiving yards, and as I mentioned, over 250 coming into the day, already a career best for him, filling in for Darius Reynolds. 3-step drop planting, Rodabaugh incomplete. There is a flag down. He wanted Prince, who fell to the ground. We'll see if there was contact. Preliminary looks like it could be a hold.
Defense, number 21. 10-yard penalty, first down.
If you've ever seen what would appear to be a smart penalty from Mario Norman, that was just that, because if he doesn't make that contact early, that's potentially 6 points real quick for Philadelphia's offense. So if you're going to have a good penalty, you just saw one.
21 Norman, the brother of 24 Norman, outdoors Josh Norman of the Washington Redskins. He was here in the arena last week when we saw Mario fly through the air like Superman for one of the more epic interceptions we've seen all season.
That's one of the things I've seen in a long time, indoor or outdoor.
I will be curious to see if that makes our Plays of the Week montage at the half. Coming up 8 minutes and 10 seconds from right now. Soul trying to make sure they're not down at the half. Raudabaugh takes a little bit off. What a catch by Outlaw at the goal line. He hung on to it for a touchdown in tight coverage. 13 yards, and he used all of that 6-7 frame there as Philadelphia pulls to within 2 with 7:50 to go in the second quarter.
What did I tell you, Grant? At 6'7", he's a big target, and he outstretched those long arms. Raudabaugh has enough time to find him cutting across the formation. You see high points it. My only question is when he comes to the ground. He had possession. I've seen no one questioning it, so I'll go ahead and say, yeah, it's a quick 6 for the Soul.
I didn't see the Valor even arguing that he hadn't caught it. We are playing on. Extra point from Spencer is good. And so back within a point. The Soul on the road, down 21-20, feeling themselves offensively. 3 touchdown passes for Raudabaugh in this half. Outlaw taking on contact from behind, no problem.
Guys do whatever it takes to deal with shave irritation. So we reimagined the razor with the new Gillette Skin Guard. It has a unique guard between the blades.
Nolan has the most recent touchdown maker.
All right, thank you, Grant. Bonnie, heck of a catch. You came off a great week last week. How were you able to get in the end zone on that play?
Well, you know, like I told you last week, I'm just running around and the ball is finding me. And look, we just had a crosser route and we connected like always.
You played in the shootout last week. Boy, this is going back and forth today. Endurance, how much is that going to matter here, not just in the first half, but in the second half?
In the second half, we just got to pick it up, man. I feel like, when our defense get a stop, I feel like we can run away with it, but at the end of the day, we got to keep playing the shootout if it's going to be a shootout.
Lonnie, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Grant?
Thank you, Dan. Spot will be the 5-yard line as Washington will get right back to work with Arvell Nelson. They have led the duration of the ball game. Remember, their opening drive, 2 plays to touchdown, and because of the missed extra point by the Soul, Philadelphia's been chasing all day, even after that 42-yard scoring drive.
Well, they know they can depend on Lonnie Outlaw, because last week he had 9 receptions for 191 yards and 3 touches. So definitely going to have to keep your eye on him if you're the Valor.
Jared Dangerfield's second catch of the game will split the distance needed for Washington in half. He dove upwards to the 11-yard line. Give him 6. It'll be second and manageable.
You can definitely see a slight difference in how once you get off those initial scripted plays to start off the game, now you start to get into calling it from the hip. So you're going to see how the Valor initially started taking deep shots. Now they kind of brought it in a little bit, trying to work sideline to sideline.
See if Washington tries to slow the game down a little bit after going up top a lot early. Not here. Nelson way downtown. Off the fingertips of Epps. Almost a touchdown for the young man who is averaging more yards per catch than anybody on this team.
I tell you, Desmond Epps was the target on that, going against James Romaine, who was a little slow getting up. Remember that back corner of that end zone is a little bit different here for the Valor. Last year, they were in square end zones. This year, rounded off, and you see Nelson had plenty of time to put some air under it, and it turned into that between Epps and Romaine. Man, this is fun watching these two go at it today.
With your daily YouTube live streams and more into
both teams an identical 120 yards through the air. Nelson once more, and incomplete, nearly intercepted off the hands of Dangerfield. Collins just about picked off his second pass of the half.
Jared Dangerfield wants that one back. He was so electric last week working up against the walls, and you just see him come in today, and he has to have that one back. There's no explanation about it. You saw it. He touched it. The problem was there was nobody around him. I think that, again, was one of those situations where it's like, ball, hurry up and get to me so I can make a play.
And I want to give credit to Glenroy Naismith as well. was the Jack linebacker who came flying back into the secondary, and he too almost had a chance at a takeaway there, just based on hustle. Epps is the motion man. Nelson, the trigger man. He will keep. Pump fake, now runs. He's so big, he dives forward and gets the first down. They're going to move the chains, and he will signal to the arena. That's 11. Get those sticks moving.
Arvell Nelson, how many times we have to tell you? He is a threat in the air and on the ground. Seeing the pass protection just breaks down, he has to get outside against Metz. And there's nobody there. Remember, there's only 8 guys on the field. In the outdoor game, you got 11, so there's probably going to be an extra safety laying around. But inside, if you see someone peel off the edge like that and leave it wide open, you got to tuck the ball and go ahead and get you some extra yards.
Came in today ranked in the top 2 in almost every rushing category in the Arena Football League. Caught by Epps, diving across the 15, shoelace tackle, give him 9. They'll bring up 2nd and 1. The spot's going to be the Philadelphia 14. And we'll be under 3 minutes to play in the half the next time Washington snaps the football. Now, here's something worth monitoring. The Philadelphia Soul, a juggernaut in this league.
Right.
2-1 in the standings right now. 4-0 in Washington in their existence. They've trailed at the half in 6 straight games.
Which is remarkable. It really is remarkable how they've been able to manage like that.
This is Will Corbin's first carry of the game. The fullback needed 1 yard, and I think he picked it up. You can see he's just laying on a couple of bodies. They're going to actually spot him right at the 14-yard line. So they may say he's short, and they're signaling 3rd down. We had a nice conversation before the game with Corbin. He really enjoyed getting to practice in the arena this week on this field.
Yeah, he said that this is one of the best weeks of practice that they've had, and, it's really formidable to be able to play and practice on the exact same field. Get used to the same environment, the walls, the turf, and the lights, too. All of that is very important for players to feel comfortable on game day.
He said that this team's more confident than he's ever seen it right now as Nelson just keeps his feet churning. Pick up the first down for a quick couple. That's automatic. That is the deposit into your bank account with your paycheck at midnight on the 1st and the 15th.
You can count on it like everything you know in life that's important, because here's the thing about this situation. They're playing the chess of the clock changing now. Remember what we talked about. There's a time difference in how the game continues to progress. Now it's about killing the clock management offensively. That's the best defense against an opposing offense, is never let them on the field. And that's what the Valor are doing right now, hold the ball.
New set of downs for Nelson. From the 11-yard line. Lob toward the end zone, incomplete. That's his 3rd pass to McNeil, not one of which has actually gotten into the hands of number 8 yet.
Well, that shows you how much of an athlete Doug McNeil is. In fact, they keep targeting him. It's just because there's balls a little far outside. Remember, this is McNeil's first week back with the team this season, so it's going to take some time for them to get on the exact same page.
Timeout is called on the field. Being charged to the Soul.
Philadelphia.
Washington has run 8 plays on this drive. By AFL standards, that's a marathon. 9th play coming up. That's the equivalent, what would you say, partner? 16 plays outdoors?
Oh, easily. Easily. One of those sustained drives where you forget that they've been on the same drive because you're like, did they punt? No, it's still they've held the ball this whole time.
Look, we talked about this with Clint Dolzell before the game, the head coach of the Soul, who's creeping up on now the 8th spot all by himself, all time in wins in the AFL. In fact, where they win today, he'll be all alone in 8th. He'll pass Steve Thon, and he'll be just 3 wins behind Jay Gruden, the head coach of the Washington Redskins in AFL wins. But I bring this up because we talked about the last minute and change of these halves, and the rules are different this year, and it really has changed the way strategically these coaches go about their business, and you've seen Washington try to slow their roll and take the air out of the ball here. Nelson's looking toward McNeil. Now he'll look toward the right. Now he's going to dance. He's in trouble. Gets out of a sack. Still running down to the 2. And that'll set up a 3rd short. Arvell Nelson. Wow. 9 yards on a highlight-worthy run.
He can absolutely punish a defense. First of all, you got to show a lot of love for the agility that it takes to be able to avoid all these hits, and then has the nose for the goal line. Taking on number 25, James Romaine, at the end of that play. And from the top, you can see there's a gap right there in A. nowhere to go, keep moving, find somewhere outside, and then just get upfield. That's great athleticism from the quarterback. Arvell Nelson is a true athlete. You can see it on display, play in and play out. That was a great job from him.
As a rusher today, 5 attempts, 28 yards for Nelson, who again will keep. This time he'll just dive off the right side of his formation. Picked up the first down. Got about a yard on 3rd and inches. So it'll be 1st down and goal from the 1. And here we are with 40 seconds to go. The Valor just trying to ensure now that the Soul don't have enough time to get the ball back.
Well, this goes back to what you were talking about the Soul trailing going into the half. These many games, and this is what it all comes down to is these offenses know that if you can hold on to the ball for as long as possible, you can dictate your own future. And the Valor right now, clock ticking away, up 1 point, that extra point that Philadelphia missed earlier, definitely something that they have to account for. You can hear Clint, you can see Clint going off right now against Mets, telling this defense from Philadelphia, the Valor made a big defensive stop earlier, you're going to have to return the favor right now.
Dolzell was irate with Jake Metz, his 6'6", 4th-year defender on the defensive line. And he is barking at his defense right now as they're getting ready. They've got to be winded. This is the 10th play they'll be on the field for on this drive.
It's the grind right here. This is how you break a defense down, but with extended drives. Because once the body starts to break down, the mind starts to break down.
On the other sideline, that was Benji McDowell with the backward cap there, the Matt Patricia look.
Always.
5-9 in his career as the Washington head coach. He loves what he's seeing. Nelson keeps. Nelson plunges. Nelson scores. A Valor touchdown. And that's going to take you down to 7.4 seconds to go in the half, with Washington leading 27-20.
Arvell Nelson right now is doing his bit for the MVP in this game. On the air, on the
arms and legs of that man.
Arvell Nelson pitching almost a perfect game out here. Been able to find receivers. He had 1 bad interception earlier than that, but he's just been playing phenomenal football today.
And his defense bailed him out moments after that interception with a tremendous goal line stand, rendering that play less a storyline.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can see Coach McDowell going in and telling these guys one main thing, guys. Finish the half strong. Defensively, A, don't get burned on kickoff coverage. And B, expect Philly to take a shot downfield. Just go ahead and expect it and be ready to go.
Now, if you are the Soul, down 8 points, you're likely going to have a shot for an offensive snap.
To 5 seconds. Please adjust the game clock to 5 seconds.
Going to lower the clock, 2.4 seconds. Going to be taken off to 5 on the game clock. Referee's waiting for that to be done, so
Please adjust the game clock to 5 seconds.
the fact that the play clock is now run out won't matter as the referees are halting play for a second. Now they put 4.4 on the clock. Seems like the officiating crew's okay with that. Clark's going to want to keep this one in bounds, you would think. He's going to go high off the net. Williams will get a chance. This will be the last play of the half. He's across the 15. He's up across midfield. He's still running inside the 10. And he almost went coast to coast. That would have been a game changer. 40-yard net on the return. However, based on the touchdown-saving tackle, the Soul will go into the locker room trailing for a 7th straight game. 28-20 lead for the Valor and Coach Benji McDowell is with Dan Nolan.
Thank you, Benji. Got off to a hot start. 2 plays in, already scoring a touchdown, and then near the end of the first half, kind of we do a little bit more clock.
Winners of 5 and 6 in this series have dominated the matchup over the last couple of years. Play free fantasy AFL today on DraftKings for your share of real cash prizes. Go to arenafootball.com, click on the DraftKings banner. Download the app now, use promo code ARENA when you sign up and play free today. An update on how our teams are looking after one half of play.
Looking right now.
My player to watch was Jared Dangerfield. He did catch a touchdown, which is bailing me out. He's got a little over 9 points. You took Lonnie Outlaw. He, of course, caught you a touchdown.
Yes, sir.
We're going up against the quarterback here with Dan's choice.
It's kind of hard to beat those QBs, man. It's hard to beat a quarterback. You know, Dan picked Dan. I wonder why he did that. But right about is a good choice. I'm not going to lie, looking at the rest of my roster, I can see that I'm still in second place behind who? Dan Nolan.
He's been on fire the last couple of weeks. We should just follow the leader and do what he does.
You know,
this season, the AFL has launched AFL Fan Games, free-to-play prediction games, where fans can compete for prizes, including VIP tickets, official game footballs, and official team helmets. Just visit games.
Coach, trailing at the half of the 7th consecutive game, 2-4 in the previous 6. How do you all bounce back and get the victory here on the road in Washington?
Oh, we just got to do what we talked about all week in prep. We got to stop Arbel from running around. We had a turnover early, and then we couldn't get the ball in from the 1-yard line 4 times. You know, we got a new center, so we've got to fix that, and I think we'll be fine.
Good luck in the second half.
Appreciate it.
A look at your first half stats. Valor, 8-point leaders where it really matters. 10-yard advantage overall. Really the big difference is Nelson running around. You can see that Dolezal hadn't gotten anything going with his team rushing the football.
Well, you can typically see 33 rushing yards is what you might get over 2 or 3 games, let alone 1.
Williams will play this ball off the net. Hit a good return at the end of the first half. Not quite as successful here. Tackle made for Washington by O'Shea Dunmore, reserve defensive back. And the Soul, down by 8 points, will get their first touch of the second half.
Well, they're going to try to strike fast, as they always normally do. Again, you talked about this in the first half. The Soul have been down for at least, 3 to 4 games this season so far? It's just kind of been their hallmark, so expect them to come out in these first 2 possessions back on script. You saw that's what Waterbaugh came running out with in his hand originally. Was that script these first few plays? Hopefully they can get a quick strike, get some points on the board real fast.
Waterbaugh came into play today, completing 63% of his passes. 13 touchdowns is added to that total. This is Prince, who caught one of his first half scores, as he will get up to the 14-yard line. 7 yards.
Darius brothers, and I tell you, those guys are great receivers that they have to work with here in Philly. You can see Coach Dolezal and Waterbaugh getting on the same page. But most people, if you do not know, if you do not follow AFL, Clint Dolezal can also sling the ball. Former quarterback. So it's like having 2 quarterbacks on the field when you got Waterbaugh out there as well.
Waterbaugh's quick toss to Prince. Tackle is made right away by Jadair Johnson. 5 yards on a completion and a first down. Johnson is huge. 6'1", 200. Rookie, played his college ball at Clemson. A lot of power conference, successful national championship type program schools on display today. He's representing the Tigers.
That's what I love about AFL, man. You get players from all over the country at all levels of the game. They all come out. They're specialists at what they do. They're professionals. These guys pay for the love of the game. Makes it fun to watch.
Waterbaugh has been loving this game for 9 years. Flags fly. Jimmy Gordon gets a sack. I'm not sure if that's going to hold up. Waterbaugh's looking around, pleading with the officials. There was a flag down. I'm not sure if he knows it yet. Gordon still celebrating as if that sack's going to hold up.
You want to tell him it's not?
Illegal formation on the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
Our referee today is Ivan Daniels. On a crew with Mark Bovos, Michael Griffin, Anthony Lombarato. There is the tackle in the backfield. The sack that would have been for Gordon, negated by penalty.
It looked like they stunted on that previous call.
Waterbaugh from Miami of Ohio. 750 career AFL touchdowns, a decorated career. He's down by 8 here. On the road, looking for a big play. Fire into the wall, got a catch made. It's Prince inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. Another first down, this one for 17.
Catching that Valor secondary in zone. They've run zone defense 2 times in a row. And that's allowed Waterbaugh to just wait for a little bit longer and find a wide open man. Again, on the right side of that wall.
Mario Norman, the tackle. That was the most open any receiver's been today for the Soul. Prince is now up to 64 yards. yards on his 5 catches, and he's got a touchdown. Washington's in motion. He's the targeted man. He'll make the catch into 3. It's a pickup of about 6. Good short tackle made immediately. That's an area where Washington, led by Frederick Obie, has thrived today.
Fred Obie, ball hog, tried to get after it last week. Had an opportunity to make some really big tackles, almost that interception as well. But you got to give credit to Washington on that catch right there. That's one of those textbook by the hands, use your hands, stick the big mitts out there, and wrap them around that leather when it gets to you.
Second, goal to go. Spot is the 3. Soul trailing by 8. Fullback Adrian Ferns, number 33, always dangerous inside the 5. Rodaball's going to throw. He's got a man. It's caught. Tight end eligible. A big boy touchdown. That's Keith Newell, the tight end from Delaware State, on a 3-yard catch, showing some receiver-like hands.
The Del State Hornet getting involved on the receiving end. I tell you, can't forget that these ends are eligible once they declare. Big man does the job right, catch it, secure it, tuck it, and then, of course, the celebration, I think, might have been his favorite part of the play.
I'm not sure he knew what to do after he got into the end zone. Just threw his hands in the air. He was as surprised as we were. Spencer's extra point. Good. He's been perfect since his first miss of the day. And that one missed extra point is still the difference on the scoreboard. 28-27 the count. Valor over the Soul after Keith Newell. The offensive lineman catches a touchdown. You can see him there on the left side. Just floats into the end zone. Made it look easy.
Down, guys. Thank you very much. Grant, back to you.
I'm just happy for Keith Newell. I mean, how many years has he spent playing ball?
I'm telling you.
Paving the way for someone else to score. He couldn't even smile. He was so out of breath.
I just love the fact that he was like, just don't get yelled at.
Short kick. Epps has some speed and nearly got the edge at the 15. Angled to the wall. It's got to be a design short kick. Maybe a little more hang time for coverage purposes.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, you've already heard the term don't outkick your coverage. Well, that's what that's about, because sometimes you can kick it and it bounce off the net, and your coverage can get downfield, and those lanes will be open, and the guy can slip out from behind that and end up getting downfield. So that way, kick it shallow enough where your coverage team can be right down there at the same time the ball gets out.
You saw who made the tackle?
Oh, my God.
The kicker, Kenny Spencer.
Kickers are people, too.
Arvell Nelson with a 1-point lead. Has another completion. This is Desmond Epps. Saw him on special teams. Now you see him as a wide receiver. 9 yards before James Romaine brings him down.
That's right. He and Lenroy Naismith in there on the tackle. And today is really, about, well, how do I want to put this? Each game, there's a certain receiver that has a special day. Today is Desmond Epps' day again. Just like in week 1, a lot of the targets, defenses, if you don't take account for you, he's going to make you pay. And he continues to do so right now for the Valor.
Got Reese at the line of scrimmage, which means they'll give Epps a chance to sprint at the snap. Dangerfield's got a catch. Picks up the first down, and he took a shot. He's a very physical receiver, 5 yards. But the word violent for a wide receiver maybe is not all that synonymous generally, but he does seek out contact, and he really doesn't shy away from it.
I love the way that Jared Dangerfield just kind of haunts that wall over there. He knows that's where he's going to be 9 times out of 10. It's just a matter of the ball getting to his hands quickly, because as soon as it does, he's looking to initiate contact with anticipation.
It's been a quiet day for him. 10 catches last week, just 3 so far. Does have a touchdown. Nelson looked at Dangerfield. Now he'll throw. Epps, that was nifty by the quarterback. 9.5 yards. Nelson's feeling himself a little bit. You can see him kind of go over to his coach, and he's kind of nodding like, yep, I did that.
You saw that. You saw that. That was nice, wasn't it? Yeah, coach.
He backpedaled out of the pocket with the ball down at his waist and then slung it to Epps.
Then played hide and seek with it, the quick tuck away to keep it from getting knocked out of his hand, and then there's Epps just right there, Johnny on the spot, waiting to receive another great reception.
I think the Valor got a really good spot there.
Absolutely.
I'm upset if I was Philly. I didn't think they got that. But
looks about a yard shot at me.
6 catches, 66 yards for Desmond Epps. And they did say first down, so it'll be 1st and 10 from the 11 for Washington. 2-step drop for Nelson. Tries to run. Pocket collapsed on him, and he got back to the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by, among others, Spencer Myers, who's a 305-pound Maryland standout. Matter of fact, he told his story last week and calling a game in Baltimore. He was a wrestler at Maryland, and he had told someone at one point, I'm going to play professional football. And he wasn't even playing football at Maryland. They said, wow, good luck with that.
Well, good luck, kid.
Here he is, getting paid to play football.
Well, if he's a wrestler, that tells you two things. He's got good hips and good hands. Agility and skills.
See him there, crouched right over the ball. I've never seen anyone with more tape on their hand. Nelson, end zone, caught, quick slant, touchdown. That looked easy. That's Doug McNeil from 11 yards out. And the Valor offense today has been a well-oiled machine. They lead 34-27. 7:11 remaining in the third quarter.
Picking up where they left off last year, Doug McNeil, I told you in the championship game, he and Arvell Nelson were able to hook up many a time, putting some points on the board. Here they are finally getting reconnected for the 2019 season, making it look easy.
Nelson did throw one interception in the first half. Other than that mistake, just about every single Valor drive has ended where Nelson would have liked, in the end zone. Lefty kicking Clark's extra point extends the lead to 8. Washington up 35-27. Valor fans feeling good about themselves at Capital One. The first whistle of this matinee action in the nation's capital. Clark with a high end-over-end kick that'll pin off of the net into the hands of Williams. Nice move at the 5. He's got a kicker to beat at midfield. He does. He's chased down from behind at the 15. A touchdown-saving tackle by wide receiver Josh Reese. 37 yards on the return by Williams.
Look, that play is exactly why you keep specialists on the coverage team. Williams is a lightning bolt for this Soul offense, and that's why you have him back there taking it off the net, because it's only a matter of time before he finds a lane to cut back and run in. If you don't have Josh Reese and Desmond Epps on the field, that's 6 points for Phillips.
His returns of 37 and 40. And that's 2 of his last 3 returns in this game, dating back to the final play of the first half. It will not be long before we're talking about him having really impacted this contest if Washington doesn't make an adjustment. 1st and 10 inside the 15. Dan Rodabaugh wants the end zone. It's intercepted. Up the ladder. Up against the wall and ruled down. Bringing it out of the end zone is Johnson. He's going to be tackled. What an athletic, brilliant interception. Jadar Johnson, the 200-pound rookie from Clemson. Welcome to the Arena Football League.
Absolutely phenomenal interception. If you haven't seen this one, you don't understand what you just missed. Look at the way that he tips it back to himself with the one-hand catch, falling away from the ball, defying all physics.
For a touchback.
Absolutely beautiful job. Johnson finding that ball, locating it, staying committed to it.
Ivan Daniels' crew did just confer and decide that they are ruling him down in the end zone. You can see that he fell on the ground and up against that green turtle sign. The return was negated. Let's go down to Dan Nolan, who's found a familiar face here at Capital One Arena.
That's right, Grant. I'm here with Go-Go head coach Jarrell Christian. And Jarrell, we have to start with the AFL game you're watching right now. Is this your first Arena Football League game that you've attended?
It's my very first one. It's an exciting atmosphere. You know, Coach Benji has been really good to me. I've sat in on a few practices this week, so I just wanted to see those guys put their work right here in the play.
2 different sports, obviously, with football and basketball. But anything you learned from shadowing him, coaching a practice for the Arena Football League?
Just the level of passion those guys have, you know, and watching those guys practice, you know, each of the coaches, they bring a level of intensity, a level of passion to what they're doing. You know, and obviously, like you said, it's a different sport, but the attention to detail from everybody, from the coaches down to the trainers, is really important.
For you, it is the first game. Anything stick out to you about the Arena Football League that you maybe were not expecting before today?
I didn't realize I was going to have front row seats, and I had to keep my head on a swivel. So luckily, you know, I think I'm still pretty mobile and athletic that I can kind of protect myself if they come this way, but no promises for you.
The action is right up on the wall. So Obviously getting done with their first ever season in the NBA G League. Been down players going up to the NBA scene, back down to the Go-Go. It's a lot to follow, obviously. But how would you assess the first year for the Capital City Go-Go?
I think it was a huge success for the Go-Go this year. You know, our staff did a tremendous job of keeping some guys ready to play when their number was called, especially when they weren't getting significant playing time early in the year. And us having Jason Randall, Chris Chioza, Jordan McRae, all those guys. Thomas Bryant practiced with us a few times. Having those guys be able to contribute to NBA teams is really special.
Jarrell, thank you, man. Good luck this summer and getting ready for another year.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Dan, and thanks to Jarrell for his time as well. Got a fourth down upcoming pending this flag. Dangerfield and Romaine way downfield in man coverage. Let's see what Ivan Daniel says.
Offensive pass interference. Number 9. Continue penalty. Fourth down.
That's crippling for Washington.
It is.
Would have been a 3rd and 3 after Nelson.
Come on, man.
Couple of short completions. Looked like Daniels left his mic on. Hold on, man, he says.
Hot mic, baby. Hot mic.
The penalty is declined. Fourth down.
So the decline penalty will make it 4th and 3. Interesting, but that's a very AFL decision by Dozell. Instead of 3rd and 13, giving Washington backed up at its own goal line. 2 to get 3 yards.
Let his defense operate here when they need one.
This is a huge play for both sides. Quick drop for Nelson. Lob down the field. Reggie Gray one-handed. Touchdown, Washington. The Valor went to one of the all-time greats at wide receiver when they needed a big play most. 37 yards from Reggie Gray. And that was a dime that Nelson just dropped.
Check the tape. The man's name is Reggie Gray. He wears number 3. Unbelievable. One-handed catch the entire way. His left hand never touched the ball. That's how you're supposed to do it against a formidable defensive back in James Romaine.
That's the best DB in the league, arguably. Stride for stride with him. And Nelson led him perfectly. Gray makes the one-handed grab, pinning the ball against his chest. And the Valor now have a chance for point number 42, and they get it. 42 to 27, your score at Capital One Arena in the nation's capital, where Arvell Nelson just dropped this one into the bucket. Reggie Gray. Next stop, end zone.
Gatorade Zero.
They're down 15 right now.
Wow, you look at that over 187.5 right now. They're at 69. And you have to think, with 2:40 left in the third and a whole quarter left to go, they might be able to get over this over.
Yeah, I think that's an over. As long as in the fourth quarter someone doesn't take the air out of the ball and go on a 9 or 10 play drive.
That's right.
It'll be the first time all season, AFL Fridays or Saturdays, they've seen the Soul hit an over.
Well, right now, the Soul have got to figure out how they can get more plays on offense right now. They've only had 18 total, while the Valor had 35.
And that discrepancy is going to lead you to a loss just about every time. Rodabaugh is trying to work something here. He's got Washa against the wall. That's a quick strike just to get a little momentum and get out of their own end zone. 5 yards to give themselves some breathing room. See Dolezal's on the field instructing Rodabaugh. One thing you'll see in the AFL as you watch these broadcasts with us, the quarterbacks come in and out of the huddle. Not unlike in high school. They'll run all the way over to the wall.
Yep.
They'll talk to their coach who's on the field. Out of the way, albeit. But on the field, there's Dolezal. And then they'll run right back into the huddle. Rodabaugh, quick strike to the right, incomplete. Briggs was reaching back toward the wall. Looked like he almost had to battle fans for the football there.
Oh, yeah, you know those fans in front row are definitely going to want to try to get their hands on it if they can. But good matchup from Johnson, who made the interception on the previous drive. Rodabaugh looked one way, tried to get it back to the other side. If you saw the way that ball came off his hand, that nose was down on that ball. That was hard for a receiver to locate it when it starts to drop midair like that.
Johnson's interception and the goal line stand. 2 plays in goal-to-go territory for Philadelphia that have really hurt their chances today. 9th-year veteran Rodabaugh looking for a home run to Prince. He's got a long ball caught for a touchdown. 40 yards. And that's how you get yourself back in the game if you're the Soul. Rotobaugh just hit a ball to the second deck. Big fly.
Look, this offense can never be counted out at any given time. Rotobaugh knows exactly how he's drawing it up. He tried to get out and give himself some space to work with against the goal line, and now here it is. Catch that secondary of the Valor on a switch. Quick six.
Prince beat Obi by a few yards. That was an easy toss for Rotobaugh, and he dropped it into the waiting hands of Prince. Extra point is good. It's not like you don't know that Darius Prince is one of the best receivers in this league. He came into play today, the number 5 fantasy player in all of the AFL on DraftKings. 25 catches, 201 yards, and 6 touchdowns before today. He's now sitting at 8 for the season. Let's take one more peek, and you tell me what you see here, partner, on Prince getting open from Rotobaugh.
Well, you see Rotobaugh knew he had one-on-one outside. And then it's just a matter of giving Prince enough time to get separation on Obi. That's really all it comes down to. Very basic pitch and catch, like playing football in the old backyard. If you can get your man beat by 1, he's beat by 5.
Last year, Prince caught 24 touchdowns. He's going to shatter that number this season. That was his big breakout. He had 1,000 yards and 89 catches.
Remember, he was splitting that kind of productivity with Darius Reynolds, who's not on the field today.
Speaking of guys that are going to shatter production, I told you starting the telecast, Dan Rotobaugh had played the Valor in his career 4 times, and he had at least 5 touchdown passes in every one of those games. He's already got 4 to go along with his interception. A 200-yard passing day on 13 of 17 through the air. Shootout ensuing here in D.C. Spencer going to try an onside kick. Loose football's never going to get to the 10. Now, Philadelphia is claiming that they recovered it. We'll have to see what the officials say. They didn't get it. The question is, did the ball get to the 10? I'm pretty sure they fielded that at about the 9.5.
Man.
We're going to take a look at this as we head out for a moment. Dolezal's going to plead his case. The Valor seem very confident sending their offense out that they're going to get the football.
The question is, did he make contact with anybody? All the Valor players backed off.
Does not look like it got to the 10.
Illegal touching
8-point game in D.C.
Just watch the ball at the 9-yard line.
Wake up.
We've played 45 minutes, 76 points have been scored. 42-34 Washington lead. Philadelphia looking for a road win. Seoul lost a week ago, first time all season. Valor won in week 3, their first victory of the year. A couple teams trying to extend or end streaks, depending on which side of this you're watching from. Reggie Gray on a throw into the backfield, a little slip screen, going to get a couple of yards.
That's right. We may start this drive off. Remember that onside kick at the end of the 3rd quarter that flipped the field. Set the Valor up to start the drive already in the red zone. So using Reggie Gray out there is a smart move to try to see if you can keep this defense honest.
Arvell Nelson is in complete command of this offense. 6th year in this league from Texas Southern by way of Iowa. Played with 4 teams, came over from Cleveland. He's found a home here in D.C., was the MVP in the Arena Bowl for the Valor last year. Lob to McNeil, who fell. Looked like Romaine and McNeil got their feet tangled up. Incomplete.
That's exactly what that was. That was just incidental contact. Good job from Romaine not getting beat to the point. But you can see that when they get down in the red zone, they're going to try to target McNeil because of his height advantage. And right there, actually, there was no even contact before the ball was in there. McNeil just off his legs.
Carpet monster.
Yeah, it'll jump up and get you from time to time.
It'll get you. I mentioned that Arena Bowl MVP honor for Nelson. 8 touchdowns in that game.
Oh, my gosh.
He's looking for another one here. Throws to the right. Gray makes the catch inside the 5. So it'll be 4th down and goal to go for Washington from about the 3.
This one gets tricky, Grant, because we talk about that shortened field. You can see Nelson when he drops back, trying to find somewhere to go. Obviously, safety blanket is Reggie Gray. He's got to find somebody on this fourth down.
Are you too far from the goal line for a Nelson keeper here?
I'm going to say yes, only because, well, yes on a scripted one. Now, if you're going to drop back and pass and there is a lane that opens up, then you take it. But for a scripted one, yeah, I say they're a little too far to make that kind of play. Now, if Philly doesn't decide to take a shot here, they've got a lot of field to work with.
2nd and 7. Prince was the motion man. He makes the catch. He just barreled into the wall at the 19. Contact from Johnson, the rookie from Clemson, has been marvelous. 13 yards on the completion up to the 19-yard line.
What can you say about Darius Prince that hadn't already been said, other than the fact that this guy's putting this team on his back right now and carrying them for whatever they need, whether it's deep passes, deep receptions, and touchdowns, or just taking a simple out route across the middle of the field, making a completion and trying to keep this drive alive for his team.
Spot at the 19. You're hearing Benji McDowell now, the coach of the Valor, on our Dan Nolan microphone.
Look at the ball.
Rodaball's pass way too far, looking for Washa into the end zone. Let's hear McDowell call what is now a critical 2nd down play upcoming for his defense.
I love Hey, wide now. You.
Second and 10. Working on the spacing of his defensive front. Now he's seeing something and telling his defense what to expect. Catches outlaw. 1st down territory now into Washington side of the field. Up to the 17-yard line. 14 yards there.
So basically what you saw him explaining there, when you heard that jet call, he was calling out the receiver that's in motion. So if the guy drops back off the line and he's just going to go straight downhill like a straight sprint ahead, that's going to be a jet route. Maybe if you get a hoop, that's when the receiver runs around the backside of the quarterback on the other side of the formation. But on that one right there, he's basically letting his defense know where the motion man is coming from and what route he's going to be running.
10 minutes to play. 8-point game. Soul with a chance to get even on this drive. Rodaball, middle of the field, incomplete. Johnson wanted a 2nd pick. He wasn't quite in the right spot, but he has been lurking in the back of that secondary.
Hey, they did a really good job in the Valor secondary playing man coverage and not getting confused when they ran those double crossing routes that Philly had. You see a runabout tries to throw it right there in the middle, but you see he has 2 receivers in the same zone.
Looked like they didn't know which one he was throwing to, and then he stopped.
And that lets you know that those receivers were out of position. You can't have both guys running to the same spot. One's got to come shallow, the other one's got to go a little bit deeper.
I'm not sure there's a quarterback in this league that I'd rather want on the field in this spot than Rodaball with a career 120 rating. The end zone for a touchdown. 17 yards. And that time we said that the Valor have done a good job tackling. Not on that play.
That play right there comes down to the fact that Rodaball stayed confident, kept his composure, able to find Washer, who stayed with the play, didn't go down off first contact, and was able to go ahead and force himself downfield and giving up the height and weight advantage.
That was Obi who missed the tackle at the 13. They're going to send Spencer out for an extra point. So they're not going to try for 2 to tie the game here. Do you agree with the decision? Oh, he didn't answer. And he missed. Wow. So, backfires.
The reason I held my comment on that was because, one, I didn't want to disturb the crowd right there anticipating